when your road is heading nowhere except the place you've always been, and you're going round in circles in the world you're living in. And when the tyranny of time's the only truth you've ever known, well then it's time to find a dream to call your own. When the road you're on is rising to your possibility, you can see a new horizon of where you want to be. Well, tomorrow is the promise that belongs to every day. Your life can change forever when your dream leads the way. Well, it's the calling of your life, it's finding your direction. You gotta make a new connection, you gotta find a place to start. Experience the glory of living your own story. It's the calling of your life, it's a journey of the heart.
What would you do right now if you knew you could use your compass to get past any failure?
Your compass is your inner sense of direction. It's the road that's guiding you to the fulfillment of your wildest dreams.
Your compass is the inner voice and inner vision and intuition and inspirations that are guiding you, prompting you, refining you to your magnificence.
It's what allows you to tap into that part of you that you know can do more and be more and give more in the world.
Everything that we are seeking outside of us is already inside of us. And all of the answers to every question that we have in life, we have if we go deep within. The greatest journey you can ever take is the journey of self-discovery.
The beginning. Before setting out on your journey, it's important to have a strong internal sense of yourself. A heart filled with purpose and multiple perspectives to give you clarity of thought as you discover what's possible.
They say the first step's the hardest one. Until you take it, no dream gets done. If you wanna grow, wanna win, you'll never know if you don't begin. You hold the future, it's in your hand. So tell the truth, your heart understands. Set your course to your own true way, and don't look back at yesterday. The first step leads to amazing grace. just one.
If you're wondering whether now is the time for you to go after your goals and go after your dreams, the answer is absolutely yes.
What I encourage people to do is to have inertia, to get things going, and to practice what I call production before perfection, to get things going, to get the inertia going and make things happen.
Just trust. It's time for you. You can't wait for the time to be perfect, because the perfect time will never happen. You don't have to wait till you know more, do more, or be more. Your time is now.
And so the ongoing realization is that wow, there's only the now, really. And you're either blurred to it or you're seeing it clearly. And when you're seeing it clearly, you'll find yourself knowing what to do.
Do it. Do it. Get in the game. One of the things I talk about all the time is that one step in the right direction is worth 100 years of thinking about it.
There's an old saying that goes, timing is everything. I say, there is no right time, only missed opportunities.
You dream forward and you plan backwards. In other words, you go out to that dream and imagine that you're there already. You have it exactly the way you'd like it to be. And then you sort of, from that position of future, look back and say, all right, what did I have to do to get here? What were the steps? Then you make a pathway, a plan, that then when you get back to now, you have a pathway laid out for you that you can take one step at a time to make that journey manageable.
Well, you might be sitting there thinking, well, I don't know if I'm ready to take that first step on my journey. I don't know if I'm ready to begin this adventure. And if that's where you're at, well, you might be in for a rude awakening because you're already on your journey. You see, inaction is still an action. It's just not the type of action that serves you.
If you're not willing to risk, you can't grow. And if you can't grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there?
This moment is precious. Take advantage of it and go after your dreams. You may get a little scared. You may even have doubts and fears, but guess what? At least you'll be feeling like you're living and you're going after your dreams, and that is what life is all about.
The next step is there. It knocks at your inner door. It's what I call the intuitive nudge that's asking you to take inspired action. It's waiting for you. It's probably tickling your soul right now as you watch this. So how do you know what the next step is? You turn within, you pay attention to yourself, and you follow your own inner guidance.
Foundation is very important because if you don't have a foundation, anything that you build will crumble.
As you're on your personal journey, your personal quest for success, whatever that means to you, I believe that you've got to have a foundation. And that foundation is going to be inherent in your self-esteem. Your self-esteem is what you think to be true about yourself. And the more you believe that you have the skills and the knowledge because you've done the work, the more you can do whatever it is you choose anywhere in the world and have that level of confidence and certainty that each one of us thrives to get.
I think it's very important that all of us work constantly to cultivate a sense of internal love and internal power, which most people don't have. Because you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are.
Everybody has a set of values in life, and these values dictate their destiny. And when you know your values and you set goals that are congruent with those values, you tend to increase the probability of achievement.
What are your core values? Who are you being? What do you want in life? How are you going to make sure that as you're moving towards your success, you know who and whose you are and where you stand in the middle of this thing called life?
Everybody needs a foundation in life, and you need that go-to place in order to feel grounded, to reevaluate who you are and where you want to go.
It's so important to know who you are, what your foundation is, where you're coming from, and then know where you're going. This is the foundation that you want to have before you build a great edifice of a life.
Now, the biggest single mistake that people make is they think that success should be easy, and they should be able to get it by thinking happy thoughts and rolling their eyes and getting into some get-rich-quick scheme. But all real lasting success takes a long time, and so you've got to build the foundation within yourself. You have to become the kind of person who can enjoy the success that you want to enjoy.
So many people change homes often throughout their lives and are in search of that feeling of being at home. They move, they can never find it. They're never truly at rest. They seek different religions and spirituality, but they can never really find home because they never find contentment.
Home can be either that place of environment where you come home to at the end of the day and you want it to be just a safe, comfortable atmosphere, calm, peaceful, energizing, whatever it would represent for you in the real world. And home is also that place of coming home to self.
Your home is an important place to start from. It's your springboard, it's your recuperation area, it's your grounding area, and whatever home is for you. Maybe it's your house, maybe it's your community, maybe it's your family, maybe it's your spiritual altar. You have a home you can always come back to and always springboard from again.
That's what you can draw from. That strength from home, you'll be able to go out in the world and find your greatness.
When we get into our home, we can find a place of security, a safe haven where we can be ourselves in spite of what is going on in the world around us.
So a home, a place of your own, a place that belongs to you, is an essential part of establishing the foundation for motivation and high accomplishment.
In design psychology, we say the home is the absolute basis of everything you do. Your surroundings absolutely affect how successful you will be and your progress. And what it is that you're being able to do is based on your surroundings every morning, every night. When you wake up, is it energizing? Is it conducive to your goals?
Because what is in your home is reflecting who you are. And what reflects who you are will come along the way with you all the time.
Home is essential to your success. You need to have this little safety net, this little nest that you can go to, that you can rest in, that you can recuperate in, that feels safe for you to rebuild your energy and your forces so that you can go back into the world and pursue your dream and follow your compass.
The universe is my playground, the world is my home, and every country is another room in the house, and every city is another platform I can share my heart and soul. I really believe that this whole world is my home. And I believe having a foundation of a home that's global allows you to do things across the world.
When we talk about having a vision, what we're really talking about is having the absolute clarity and the instruction of what it is we want our brain to focus on.
Your vision is your end game. Without it, there can be no direction, nowhere for you to go, nowhere for you to start, nowhere for you to end.
Clarity of thought and clarity of the vision is essential. The clearer the picture, the more direct the path to get exactly what you want.
The question is, what are you looking at? That's what vision is about. What you see when you look out at life, and how are you going to move based upon what you see.
Your vitality in life is directly proportionate to the vividness of your vision.
Get extremely clear about your vision. Get the most intricate details that you possibly can, right down to how things will look, the feel, the smell, the colors, the motion, whatever detail that you could possibly imagine in your mind first, you can then take action on and make that become a reality.
We are giving our brain the instruction of exactly what we want it to find in the physical world. We also put ourselves in a frequency to be able to resonate with anything that matches that vision.
Your vision is a dream of what's possible. Your mission is the manifestation of the possible dream through passion.
Well, visualization is a starting point because there seems to be a one-to-one relationship between how clear you are about what you want and how fast you move toward it and how fast it moves towards you. But it's not enough, because then you have to do the work. Then you have to take the steps. It's good to have a clear idea of the mountaintop, but now you have to hike.
Visualization is more of a first step. You visualize what you want, and then when you open your eyes, you take action. The action is what will lead to the completion of the very thing you've been visualizing.
Who am I? What's my purpose? Why do I feel this way? Once I had answers, now only questions. I move forward, not knowing exactly where I'm going, but in the direction of a fleeting feeling and an idea that I want for myself.
The journey of my life has traveled 3 different directions. The directions have been governed by the data of my life, the judgment of my life, and the feeling of my life. My creation led to my confusion because I was born with the last name Gay. And when you go to an all-boys school like Eton College, which is where the Princes went to, with the last name Gay, it leads to a certain amount of confusion. Obviously, I had to act out because I wasn't gay. So I had to act out. And so I started to disrespect people. I disrespect girls, I disrespect myself. And the confusion led to the compromise. I was 34 when the journey of my life shifted. I traveled from England to Australia to America. I was brought to the States by Cher, the rock and roll diva, the Oscar winner. She discovered me in Australia as her rock and roll promoter and sponsored me here to take her from cabaret to rock and roll. And at 34, I was living above the Hollywood Hills in a home built for Greta Garbo by the studio in 1920. I'd go down on a Friday night and play with my A-list rock and roll stars and my superstar actors. Even though my outside world looked incredibly fabulous, even though I had excess in the outside world, I lived in a world of rock and roll where excess could be accepted, and yet inside I could still have my own demons ran rampant. So things were certainly dawning upon me when I went down to the whiskey bar on a Labor Day when I was 34 years old on Sunset Marquee. I was about to start a weekend of binging that would get me through to Monday, and then I would be excessive in my business life again. And I went into the men's loo and had someone in there. I was taking some drugs, and that person that was actually of the opposite sex, she could have been 34, which I was, but she was 19, and she'd always been 19. But I'd just gone from 19 to 20 to 21 to 22 to 25 to 30 to 34. And it just happened that in that moment I looked in the mirror and I saw myself long enough and some light appeared. Something appeared that was of peace. Whatever happened in that room at 34, I came out different. I walked out of the bar. I didn't even say goodbye to my friends. I went back to my home, and in that moment, I gave up those buffers to my feelings. And at 34, my compass to my life changed from the goal line of my life to the learning line of my life. I've learned since 34 that to move into the accurate confession of my own judgment, to allow myself to turn and look at my shadow at every opportunity. Whenever I have anger or aspiration, whenever I want to blame myself or blame myself for being another, it's so much easier to give than it is to receive. The story of my life is that I am a crusader of love. I am a humanitarian, and I've been blessed in the last few years to do some very significant humanitarian work. Everything that I did through my early youth was proving my worth. I had to do everything I could to prove my own worth, prove it to myself, and therefore live in the light that I thought my father and my family expected of me. But then something else happened, and I realized later on, after I was 34, that nothing that I do ever proves me worthy. Nothing that you do, listening to this and watching this, will ever prove you worthy. We are worthy simply because we are. I am, and so are you. And now my commitment is to support each and every one of us to be the best we can be. If I buffer your mirror, if I buffer you to bring up your brilliance and not let it stay on the pillow of a new dawn, because you have brilliance, but if I buffer your brilliance to be the best it can be, this is what happens. I buffer you, I buffer you, I buffer you, and I get to see myself more clearly in your beautiful reflection, and then know myself more clearly in the next second of my life. And that's enough for me to know that my compass is on a true and authentic path.
On the road. You cannot control the world around you. What you can control are your thoughts, the integrity by which you live, and how you choose to make a positive difference in the world. Your life and your legacy are in your hands.
We know when we are living our lives from the inside out, there are things that can happen to us that we cannot control, things that can catch you on the blind side. And it's a place that you go, perhaps as St. Francis talked about, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. I can't change what has happened. The courage to change the things that I can. I can change how I'm going to respond, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Most of us are reacting to the outside circumstances, and we're allowing the outside circumstances to control our thinking, our feelings, and our behaviors.
Because if we're just automatically reacting to everything that goes on, then we're really tapping into our more animalistic nature, and we're not thinking about what's in our own best interest. If we give ourselves a moment to pause, then we give ourselves think time to be smart and think about what is really the best approach in that situation.
Oftentimes in life, the questions that we ask ourselves immediately after a stimulus will determine the quality of the response that we make. The question you have to ask yourself is, how high of a quality response do you want to produce in life?
When is the last time that you made a decision in haste and had the optimal outcome that you truly wanted?
What I've learned is when something happens, that's this moment. Pause right here and then respond. When you pause, you're able to see with clarity what your choice is. When you respond at that point, you're coming from a higher state of awareness and a higher state of consciousness. So learn to take a deep breath, pause, and then respond rather than react.
Staying focused is a matter of reassessment on an ongoing basis. Sometimes our path is not a straight line. Most often it is not. So it's about gathering all the information that you have at that time and figuring out how you will use this information going forward to get exactly what you want.
You're going to have a lot of failures, a lot of disappointments, but those are not things to stop you. Those are things that will build your character. And as a result of those things, you will grow through those things and begin to discover some things about yourself that you would not know otherwise.
Start seeing the challenge as a part of the quest. When you do that, you can embrace it versus resist it.
All you do every single day is you achieve one mini goal that moves you in the direction of something that's important to you. You will have this feeling of forward progress. You will be internally motivated. You will feel excited and positive about yourself. Your self-esteem goes up. You feel like a winner. You have more confidence if you just achieve one little goal at a time.
You've got to hold the vision even when you cannot see any tangible results or any of the activity that you're engaged in are working. And through persistence and patience, did I say patience? Yes, patience. You continue to move forward, things will begin to appear.
We have to make sure that we are not going through this thing called life malnourished. And unfortunately, we do get in places where we find ourselves mentally, emotionally, and spiritually malnourished. So give yourself what you need to make sure that you can actually deal with what you're growing through. Not going through, but growing through. Listen to something positive every day. Read 10 to 15 pages of something that will help to nourish your system, nourish your spirit, and give you what you need in order to win in the game of life.
Especially on the hard days when you're getting thrashed, when life is hard, pause, breathe. It brings your attention into the now. And when your attention is then here in the now, you find yourself knowing, intuitively, viscerally, you find yourself knowing what to do in order to solve the problem that was bugging you.
And remember that the date that it is today will never be the same again. Wake up in the morning when things seem slow, look at your calendar, and realize that that day is the last time you'll ever see that day, so make it good.
It's very possible that you're being a passenger and not the pilot of your life. And you just have to take control and make that decision to live with intentionality.
It's not always going to be easy. In fact, sometimes it's going to be very difficult. It's persistence and desire that gets everybody over that difficult hump.
This is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. So don't hold back on your ability to give. Find ways to give. Be creative about giving. Get excited about giving. There are people that need you to find a way to give into their life. And I encourage you, as you're giving, understand that he who gives, it shall be given unto him or her. Pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall men and women give into your bosom.
And to know that you're making a difference in other people's lives, I don't think that there's a better feeling that you can have to know that somehow either your time or your money is making somebody's life a little bit better.
If we all did that, even if you don't have money to give, you can give your time, your energy, your talents, but whatever you give back, you get to keep.
Do you want to feel that your heart is full, that you've actually done something that is beyond you? You need to give back.
The times when you're feeling the lowest, the times when you're feeling the most down, that's the time you need to be giving back, because when you give back from there, it creates a sense of abundance. It creates within you a sense that you have more to give. And by having that sense that you have more to give, you start to tap in to that inner resource that allows you to do more, be more, have more, and create more in your own life as well.
When you start giving, you become part of a community of givers. You start attracting people like you. And there's nothing better than being part of a community of people that are giving back to the world, because they have a much bigger vision. They are here for changing the world in a big way.
And when you give back, it gives us a sense of that connectedness. And it's so important because it allows us to know that we're not alone. And I can't stress how important it is to realize that we are all a part of the same quest.
Someone once said that there are two types of people in the world, givers and takers. The takers sometimes eat better, but the givers always sleep better.
How many people do you know that sit there and say, oh, I really need to lose the weight, and then they keep eating unhealthy foods? How many people do you know that sit there and say, oh, I can't stand my job, and then they keep going back to that same job day after day after day? How many people do you know that sit there and say, oh, I'm not happy in my relationship, but they go home every day to that same person that they don't love anymore?
You cannot invest any more in a future that doesn't exist.
Life is unpredictable, and you've got to be flexible and versatile and be willing to make the adjustments necessary that will move you in the direction of your goal. And you've got to ask yourself, am I on course? Am I seeing the results that I want to see? You've got to monitor yourself and continue to execute in the direction that's giving you the most positive feedback.
One of the biggest mistakes that people make is heading down the wrong road for far too long. There's no reason for that. Once you realize you're going the wrong way, as quickly as you can, stop and get back on track.
It is still a learning experience. Once you figure out what the lesson is, put on the brakes. Don't go any further. Lesson learned. Take it with you. Put it in a safe spot. You can use that information later and then move in the right direction.
Think in terms of when was the last time you had a big east to west smile on your face? When was the last time you felt joy in your heart? And when was the last time you knew you were on track? And then put together a plan of action of how you can get back to that place.
If you're going down the wrong path, do you really want to change? And if you do, step back and say, I want to change. And whether you're going down that path for 1 week, 1 year, or 10 years, you have the right to change. It's your life.
One small move in another direction can be right for you and take you from going from stuck to unstuckable. And when you're in that situation, there's no stopping you. It's like going from being stopped to being unstoppable. And when you have that feeling, it's amazingly empowering.
So if you feel that you're doing something that is not good for you or is not going to help you with your final destination, be aware, be smart, and make a different choice. It's that simple.
Courage is that place we find within the depths of ourselves where we take an action even if fear is present.
Nobody is born with courage. As a matter of fact, most of us are afraid. The difference between the brave person and the coward is that the brave person confronts their fears and does it anyway. The coward allows the fears to control them.
Fear, what is that? False evidence appearing real. We have to find a way to move beyond it and to be unstoppable and to be relentless and know that we can be the courageous beings that we were designed to be.
Courage is something deep within that allows you to step forward, step into that greatness, step into the risk, and do it anyway.
A big part of courage has to do with one's confidence. If one takes the unknown to the known, you will become more confident. Take the unknown to known by doing research, by gathering information, by reading books, by really pulling information. Every way that you can take the unknown to the known, you'll be more confident. More confident, more courageous, more action, more success.
You have that spark of greatness in your heart. You have that calling, that pull that is saying, let's take that difficult path. Let's hit that summit. Let's take that adversity and let's meet it with full force and with courage.
And when you start to feel courage, it seems like the universe supports you with that and gives you more. Gives you more energy to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish.
What are you doing right now that's scary? You're not scaring yourself. You're not stretching yourself. You're not empowering yourself. You're staying safe.
And as far as I'm concerned, if the fear isn't great enough, then the goal probably isn't big enough. So even if you're afraid, take that first step. I promise you won't regret it.
With every step I take, purpose. Every path, opportunity. Every failure, confidence. When I didn't think there would be a tomorrow, there was. I am still learning.
I was born in Hong Kong, second daughter of a very traditional Chinese family, which if you know anything about traditional Chinese families, that's a very bad positioning. My parents were not, especially my mother, was not very happy to get a second daughter. In fact, to put it mildly, she was rather upset about it to the point that she left me in the hospital for the first 3 days. My birth was followed by the birth of 3 boys, so it really cemented my position as being very unwanted. And from there, I really experienced what one would call being an abused, neglected child. From there, I was blessed to have a grandfather who gave me my name, Hey Li. With that name, I knew that somebody really cared about me and thought I was worth something, that I was going to be destined to be something great. So with that in my internal makeup, I was able to circumvent and escape some of the mental abuse and physical abuse I was experiencing. And life was pretty tough, but not as tough as what I found out at age 11 that my classmate Rebecca had. She and her family of 5 total lived in a room and shared a kitchen and bathroom with 2 more families, and they didn't even have enough to eat. I realized that there were people in life in even much worse shape than I was, and I wanted to make a difference in their lives because it didn't seem fair, it didn't seem just that with 2 working parents that they couldn't feed and clothe the family properly. And so my mission in life, my compass point was to make a positive difference. Armed with that knowledge, packed up my bags and came to America as a young student, working my way through school, did my undergraduate and graduate degree in 4 years in foods and in nutrition and economics, my master's in economics, so that I could go help make a positive difference in people's life. I stepped forward again, found a job with a company that had the same perspective as I did, and more than that, they were willing to take me as I was, a small immigrant woman of color, and take me and rate me and promote me based on my merits. Great story for me, because having been discriminated on every account by that time, that was a wonderful place to go work, make a difference. And that was May Department Stores International, which is now known as the Macy's Group. I joined them, and as they can say now, the rest is history. I went from there, Vice President of Nike, President of Reebok Apparel Products and Retail Group, and CEO of Veda. And leaving all that to start my own foundation, because I never forgot, whether when I was working as a corporate individual or as a personal life, that my purpose, my compass, was to make a positive difference. So when I was with Reebok, we were able to establish labor standards throughout the world of how our manufacturers would treat their employees. What kind of hours they could keep, what kind of ventilation, lighting, all the things that so many of us in America take for granted had to be established. And there was something that made a difference for all the workers that we work with, but eventually the whole industry. It was something I'm really quite proud of, because I remember the times when I was young and did that myself. People ask me at times, what about your mother? What is she doing now? Isn't she so proud of you? And the short and long answer is, well, no. And people are so disappointed when they hear that. They think, oh, that must be so devastating. But I say, stop for one moment. If you're looking for approval from outside, whoever it is, you will never be happy. You have to allow them to be who they are, and for you to be who you are, and just accept that. My father died many years ago in a plane crash, but before he died, I felt like we had peace. Even though he never told me in so many words he was proud of me, I know in some level he was. So for me, I'm very at peace with my family, and I appreciate who they are, who they were, and what they've given me, and I'm really very grateful. The one thing I want everybody to know is that you, every one of you, have what it takes to get what you want. It's inside of you. Just go back inside. Don't listen to the tapes from outside, from everybody else telling you what to do, what to love, who to date, what job to have, what car to drive. You know what it is that you need. Go back to your inner wisdom. Listen to your voice, the voice that has been silenced by all this outside tapes. When you get back to that point, find out what is your compass point, and from there, you will live the life that you are born to live. And I promise you, you will find the peace and happiness you're after.
The journey within. Perhaps the greatest journey you can take is the journey into the hidden treasures of your mind and the eternal wisdom of your heart.
The greatest breakthrough discovery in human potential is that you become what you think about most of the time. The second greatest discovery is that you become what you say to yourself most of the time as well. Psychologists have determined that 95% of your emotions are determined by how you talk to yourself as you go through your day.
What am I gonna do? Live on this beach forever? I should be moving on. I had plans. If only I was smarter, better. You're never gonna make it. You're not good enough. You're never gonna make it. I should just give up. You're not smart enough. Give up. You're not good enough.
What we say to ourselves has a huge impact on our success. And I ask you to really think about how aware are you of your own self-talk?
Are you encouraging you to go forward? Or are you discouraging yourself?
We all have a problem with negative self-talk. One of the ways to alleviate that problem is that when you hear disempowering voices come through your head, simply say thank you for sharing and put your attention on a much more empowering thought form.
MIT did a study, and the study indicated if I tell you you can't do something, someone else has to come along 17 times to say, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, to overcome that one time. That's why we have to really train our minds to serve us, because we have a mind, but most people go through life allowing their mind to rule them.
So pay attention to how you speak to yourself throughout the day. And when you find yourself saying negative thoughts, turn it around and say things like, I'm strong, I'm confident, I'm unstoppable. That will move you much closer towards the direction of your compass.
Because it's so easy to get caught up in self-attacking negative thoughts. I mean, our brains are really good at that. So sometimes a positive affirmation can help us to feel better. And I think that's really the key.
Affirmations are a great tool to help you reprogram your mind, to help you reprogram the subconscious mind, which is responsible for what you think about yourself, what you think about, and what you do.
You're never gonna make it. You're not good enough. You're never gonna make it. You should just give up. You're not smart enough. Give up. You're not good enough. No. I won't give up. I will carry on. I am strong. I am smart.
You got to say things to build yourself up, to encourage yourself. Each and every day you've got to say, I am going to make it. I will never stop. I will never give up.
I think affirmations are wonderful under a few conditions. You need to make sure that they're true, they're accurate, they're attainable, and they're done on a consistent basis to where you can yield the results that you want.
And affirmations are nothing more than declarations that you choose that'll help you achieve your goals. They're the pillars for the vision of your life or your business.
It's so important to have your own compass, because when you have your own compass, it's being true to who you really are.
There have been times where somebody has tried to follow in the path of somebody else, maybe a father, grandfather, a mentor, and they found that it was like putting a square peg in a round hole. It just didn't fit.
There's something that we're meant to give to the world that only we can really know if we just plug into ourselves and somehow plug into an intuition or inner drive. No one else can tell you who you should be in the world. It's just not the way our minds and bodies are meant to work.
You need to look deep inside you, because the things that truly will allow you to grow and to get to your greatness all come from within you. You got to go inside and find those things. Let them come out.
Only you know exactly what you want in your life and how you want to get it. And therefore, relying on others may not get you to the final destination that you perceive.
And the reality is, if we utilize someone else's compass, we can find ourselves lost. We can find ourselves on a dead-end road. We can find ourselves in the midst of a war zone that had nothing to do with us.
That would be a total waste. I mean, to actually go through your entire life and not have lived it. If you're so busy trying to use someone else's compass, live their life, live what expectations are from the outside, you might find that your life was really worth living.
You have to follow your own inner compass because that's the piece of the puzzle that helps make the whole world come together. I have my piece of the puzzle, you have your piece of the puzzle. They're different, but when we put them together, it makes this beautiful whole that can't be done unless you follow your own inner compass.
Everything first exists in spirit, and then it materializes.
I don't believe that we could animate our bodies, move our bodies, direct it purposefully towards some objective without having some degree of inspiration driving us.
Every second, 10 million of my cells are dying off and 10 million new ones are being created. Every second, 100,000 reactions are happening in every cell of my body. That's 10,000 quadrillion things happening in my body without me thinking about it. That's the spiritual side of my being. That's the intelligence that gives me and you life.
What you're looking at is this material manifestation of something that's spiritual within. The spiritual and the material are two sides of the same coin. Everything that you see out there in many ways is an illusion because it looks like it's real, but it's really spirit which has taken form in a concrete way.
Listen, we can't control everything that happens in our lives, but with spirituality, sometimes we get a sense that sometimes things don't always happen in our time frame, in the way that we want to have happen, but it doesn't mean that it won't happen for us. So being in touch with a spiritualism helps give perspective that it's not only about us, that there is a bigger picture out there, and I really think it helps us with achieving our overall goals.
Spirituality reveals that we are connected to everything that exists on this planet. We are not isolated individuals, but part of a larger whole, a larger part called humanity.
When you realize it's all spiritual, life becomes a game. It becomes something that's much more playful. The stress is removed. You still go for things, you still have bumps in the road, but you realize that it's a spiritual journey.
And I don't think that you can learn it or discover it for you until you're ready. And no one can force it on you. No one can make you want to learn it. But when you embrace the concepts and you embrace the idea, you will become more of a whole person than you ever imagined you could possibly be.
But once you get connected to the spiritual part of yourself, the spiritual part of your being, you understand that you do not have to look at the circumstances and the situations in your life and feel as if that's it. Understanding that you are a spiritual being who has come here to have a human experience.
Determination is never giving up. No matter what happens, no matter what the bumps are, you keep going. You take a deep breath, you look within, you realize that you can achieve anything.
People who have no determination at all, they just lack complete focus and desire. They kind of stagnate in mediocrity. Without determination, you don't have any fuel for your dreams.
Great things don't happen to people who give up. Great things happen to those who stick with it.
When things get tough, remember what it is you're really looking for, what you're going for, and you'll get past it.
And also remember who you are. Come from that sense of identity and sense of self, because then you know that you're moving on your own pathway. And that creates a stick-to-itiveness.
Determination is something that'll keep you going no matter what. If you are serious about achieving your goals, if you really want your life to be a masterpiece, determination is going to change your life. Make a decision, stick to that decision, and have the relentless pursuit until you achieve that goal and dream.
You will never be able to taste the sweet flavor of success until you are willing to endure the bitter taste of failure. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are in life, you will taste failure, and it will not taste good. It will be bitter, and you have to move forward, get up off the canvas of life, and understand that giving up is not an option.
Persistence is your measure of your belief in yourself and your ability to succeed. And every time you persist in the face of disappointment, you become stronger, you believe in yourself more, you develop greater self-discipline, you develop greater confidence, and eventually you reach the point where you become unstoppable.
Nobody has to get you up in the morning to do what's truly most important to you. But you'll have to get somebody to motivate you to do the things that aren't. If you want to have an empowered will, a determination that's undefeatable, make sure you set goals that are truly yours, from your highest values, that inspire you, that you can't wait to get up in the morning to go live.
I've made one of my greatest discoveries, peace. It was buried deep within me, and now I can finally see. I see the road ahead, and for the first time in a long time, I can see myself.
My life was not meant to be spent inside a cubicle, so I made a decision right then and there to follow my dreams, to find something that I'm passionate about, and to chase that career of adventure. I'm originally from Texas and then grew up in Virginia and ultimately St. Louis. And ever since I was a kid, I was always getting into trouble outdoors, running around, playing with snakes, running through the creeks, digging in the mud, and just loved being outside. I would leave in the morning, I'd come back at night for dinner, and that's what I would do every day. And that led to really enjoying and loving being in the Boy Scouts. Looking back, I see what a huge impact the Boy Scouts and becoming an Eagle Scout had on me. It gave me the confidence as a kid that I carried with me in life. I let successes like this drive me, not failures. So for me, it was, I realized, hey, I can set my goals as high as I want, the highest thing there is in Boy Scouts, and achieve them. And from there, it just led, in life, I've always tried to set high goals and go about achieving them. So Boy Scouts to me was a very instrumental part, a huge stepping stone to my life and the future ahead. In high school, my focus was on academics and sports. I played football and loved every minute of it. Then, when it was time to go to college, I decided to narrow that focus and major in business because I thought that would give me the most options outside of school. After graduating college from SMU with my 2 degrees, I decided to pursue a career in the internet industry. The internet was booming, it was so exciting, there was so much going on, and I thought it was the next stepping stone for me because I love the outdoors, I love adventure and all the challenges that come with that. So I thought this career would be a replacement for all of that. It's not that I didn't like my office job, but I didn't love it either. And I wanted to feel passionate about what I did. I wanted to feel the way I felt when I'd summit mountains or swim with sharks. So I had to figure out how I could make that my career. And then totally out of the blue, an opportunity came about to be on the show Survivor. And it came about a month later. I'm stuck on an island in Panama, not knowing what's going on, but realizing that when every single thing was stripped away, money, anything material, everything taken away, I was as happy as I've ever been. Just living off the land, catching food, playing this challenging game, but at the same time very strategic. So I was using a lot of the things I learned. A lot of the skills as an Eagle Scout definitely came into play. And then that show ended and I went back to my regular job. Then I really started thinking, my biggest passions in life are outdoors, adventure activities, and challenges for myself, both physically and mentally. My compass really moved me. When I got back from Survivor, I went back to my job, and while I was happy in my job, I was being challenged, and it was a great career path that I was on. It just wasn't really my passion. I wasn't running out and telling people, oh, listen to my new project, listen about this and that. So I started looking for something else, and my compass really changed when I started to go into adventure travel and when I started a production company. And I started not loving what I did, but doing what I loved. And that was the biggest change in my life. And now I'm doing every single thing that I would be doing in my spare time as part of my job. And it's unbelievable. Everyone has something that excites them, that moves them. Unfortunately, some people don't have jobs that affect them in that way. I know change may seem intimidating, but it's essential in life. And all of us have what it takes to make these changes that will make us the happiest we can be. Right now, I'm happier than I've ever been in my life, and it's because I'm really living my passion. My job is working in production projects all over the world where I get to share my adventures with people and tell stories, and I'm growing myself, I'm teaching other people, and it all happened because I really went out and I chased my dream to do something outdoors, to do something that involved travel, but to still use my education and running productions and being involved with all of it, and it's unbelievable. Now I know everything that I do may not be for every other person. Some of it might be a little too dangerous or uncomfortable or just flat out not fun, but the bottom line is I'm doing what I love and what I'm so passionate about. And I think, life's too short not to do that. So the one thing I would say to people is go out, find out what you love, set a goal, go after that, stick with it, and chances are you're going to be so much happier than you are doing whatever you're doing today if it's not along that line.
Tomorrow. Life is unpredictable. You don't know what tomorrow will bring, so embrace the future with valor and continue to blaze your own extraordinary path.
The needle on your compass is always adjusting to find out what's exactly right for you. What's important is that you need to do your part, and that is to watch, to learn, to listen, to hear, to pay attention, and to take that advice that you get from inside to guide you in exactly the right direction.
There are going to be setbacks. disappointments, modifications, delays, sickness, deaths. There will be challenges. You will feel off center. You will get new insights, new revelations, new things that will come to you. The question is, how will you deal with it? Be still, go within, and then move accordingly.
You get influenced either in large ways or in small ways, but every day something changes you. Be prepared for it, embrace it, and move forward.
Remember, life is a continuous progression of changes and difficulties and ups and downs and trends, and your job is just keep moving forward.
Be open to the experience. Stay connected to current reality with curiosity, and enjoy the ride.
Hang on.
It's not like you were moved once and then you just somehow play it out. You moved once, it set a new direction, and then the new direction is to just always be compassing.
Pay attention to the opportunities that are there and trust that that's where you're supposed to be. And keep going.
Don't do things that are insignificant, that are going to waste your time. Be determined to choose things that are going to make your life more abundant and more fulfilling.
And though the values will change along the way and the destinies, the summation of all your destinies will make up your life journey. Your soul calls your life's journey. Your mind plays with the destinies. Your physical body will adjust them. You will refine them along your way. That's how you master your life.
So when your compass moves you one more time, what do? You celebrate it. You welcome the challenge. You take a deep breath, you put a smile on your face, you look up and you go, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna find out what's in me. I'm gonna go forward and accomplish this. And as I do that, I will keep growing, I'll keep stretching, I'll keep daring something worthy. My favorite phrase, dare something worthy. As your compass moves you, go with the flow. That's your divine mission.
Gratitude is one of the most important emotions that we can hold in our life because it recognizes that we are living in harmony with the universe and accepting what the universe has to offer. And in this way, the universe provides us more of the same.
Gratitude is essential because gratitude is synonymous with appreciation. What is appreciation? Appreciation is simply increasing in value. For example, your house, when it appreciates, what's it doing? It increases in value. So when you appreciate something, you are automatically increasing its value. If you don't have gratitude for something, it might as well not exist.
Somebody who isn't grateful for all the blessings that they have right now is not aware of how lucky he or she is. And so when you take the time, when you take just a few moments to think about one little thing that you're grateful for, a flower, being able to breathe, being alive, that is magic in itself. And that is really the beauty of creation. That's the beauty of our lives.
It was Henry James who said that nothing of the senses can satisfy the soul. The only thing that can satisfy the soul is thank you, I love you. When you get up in the morning and you can say thank you, I love you in front of the mirror, and also to the world around you and the people around you, now you're going to have fulfillment.
I think we take for granted all of our life's gifts, and being grateful is a launching pad to have more and to be more and to accomplish more in your life.
Gratitude is actually the grace of life.
The more gratitude you have, the fuller your life will be.
So we must wake up each and every day with a sense of gratitude, with a thanksgiving, not just for Thanksgiving during the holiday, but a sense of thanksgiving throughout our entire lives. It should be a part of our lifestyle because we have so much to be thankful for.
It's not just a palliative that you brainwash yourself with in order to get through troubled times. It's It's sort of like the sign that, wow, you're finally experiencing reality clearly. Gratitude is appreciation, it's love expressed. It feels good to the one who's feeling grateful, and it's beneficial to those who are in receipt of it.
I remember hearing all about gratitude, and I sat in my room, and I was in a dumpy little place, and I think I had a car that broke down a lot, and I was struggling to pay my rent, which was probably $200 a month, and I was very unhappy. But I was trying, probably just like you. And I remember picking up a pencil, a simple number 2 lead pencil. And I thought, okay, let me try to be grateful for this. And I was resistant to the whole idea. And I looked at it and I said, yeah, okay, with this pointed end here, I guess I can write a grocery list, I can write a romance letter, I can write a novel, I can write a suicide note. There's all kinds of things I can do. And I started to shift a little bit and thought, well, that's kind of amazing. That this little piece of wood with this little piece of lead, I can actually do things that would change my life. I can write affirmations with it. I can write intentions with it. I can write out my vision with it. I can write out all kinds of things. And then the other end, if I didn't like what I wrote, I can erase it. And you notice I'm smiling now as I think about it because I'm remembering the first time I actually did this. I began to feel genuinely grateful for the pencil, And as I felt grateful for the pencil, I would look around my room and I'd go, there are people that don't have this. Not only a pencil, but they don't have a roof over their head. They don't have a little refrigerator. They don't have a car. They don't have any money. The way I was living, even then, with all of my complaints, all of my struggles, was better than many people in third world countries. And often I was living better than kings and queens that were ruling countries in past times. And as I realized all of that, I changed. Now today I have this wonderful lifestyle, and I have a car collection, and I have all these books out, and I have a country estate, and I have a hot tub. And every night I get in that hot tub and I look at the stars and I count my blessings. I say thank you because I'm grateful. But it all began with a pencil.
In April of 2005, I woke up in the morning with what I thought was a bad case of the flu, and Carol, who was just my girlfriend then, insisted that I go to the hospital, and I went to the hospital, and they didn't know what was wrong with me, and when I woke up 3 weeks later, I was in a different hospital and had no hands and no feet. I was born in Portsmouth, Virginia in 1954. My dad was in my opinion, a Navy hero. He was in Pearl Harbor when it was bombed. And I was raised the first 3 years of my life in Washington, D.C., moved to Chicago when my dad was stationed in the Navy base, the Great Lakes Navy base. And then because of the health of my mother, who was a rheumatoid arthritic, we moved to Arizona in 1959 to keep her on her feet, and she stayed on her feet for another 30 years after that, so that was a good choice. In 1985, I was in my backyard and I was shot in the back by a little boy that was playing with his dad's rifle, and he was shooting at his back fence, and I was on the other side. And the bullet went through the fence and hit me in the side, and it shattered my spleen and entered my backbone. But that happened in 1985, and because I had no spleen, then 20 years later, in April of 2005, I contacted an illness that caused my amputations.
Jeff was in a coma in the hospital, and everyone was telling me, all the medical professionals were telling me that he was going to die, that he wasn't going to make it. And I had accepted that as a very likely fact, but They wanted me to sign a DNR, and I couldn't do that. I just knew that Jeff wouldn't want me to do that. I went outside, I was a smoker at the time, and I went outside and sat on my smoking bench, and one of the nurses had given me a bookmark. And on this bookmark there was a poem that says, "Don't give up." And I read it, and it moved me, but I put it in my purse and went out for a cigarette, reached in for a cigarette, and every time I reached in my purse, I came out with the bookmark. And I kept looking at it and putting it away, and then I realized that that was it. I had to just not give up.
Now you have to understand that every medical professional at that time was coming on down on her pretty hard. Let this man go. His life is not worth saving at this point. I don't even think we can save his life, even if we tried. And she was the one that said, no, you are going to do everything you possibly can.
When the surgeon came in and looked at Jeff and said, he looked at him for maybe 10 seconds, and then he turned and walked out of the room saying, I'm not going to do it. I ran after him, grabbed him by the shoulder and turned him around and said, you have to do it. Someone has to do it. And he said, no, he'll die on the table. I'm not going to do it. And I said, he'll either die on the table or he'll die right there in the room. He has to have the surgery. He can't live without it. He said he's going to wake up with no hands and no feet and hate you forever. And I said, so be it.
And I hate this woman so much that on June 11th, 2005, just barely over 2 months after this happened to me, while I was still in the hospital, I asked this woman to marry me. And we were married by the hospital clergy in room 105 in telemetry, in the same hospital in which the amputations happened. When I had woken up and realized that I had no hands and feet, I was really inundated with visitors, colleagues, ex-students from years back that I didn't even remember. But I remember one of the department heads that I had came in and he said to me, Jeff, you're at a crossroads right now. You can either lay there and feel sorry for yourself, or you can use this as a springboard to go out and change lives. It was a wonderful, positive thing to say. And I can remember while I was awake, my principal had called me up several times. And he called and talked to me on the phone, told me about the wonderful things that were happening at the high school where I was teaching. But he always finished up the conversation with, can you give me some sort of timeline for when you're going to be back in the classroom? When all the medical professionals were asking me to apply for Social Security and go on disability, and he didn't give me that option. Every conversation ended up with, I need to know when you're going to be back in the classroom. And less than 8 months later, I was sitting in his office getting ready to start teaching again full-time in January. I will never, ever believe that God did this to me, but I do believe in my heart that God kept me around for a reason. Something that I really live my life by now is I'm not going to let the things that I can't do get in the way of the things that I can do. And there's a lot of things I can't do, but there's a lot of wonderful people out there that have helped me through this. A lot of new wonderful people that I've met, and a lot of wonderful people that I've yet to meet. And life it's wonderful. One thing I would like to leave you with, I always remember from The Music Man, when Professor Harold Hill was waiting for Marion the librarian to come meet him at the footbridge. And she came down and she said, I almost didn't come. I think we should do this tomorrow. And he said, oh, Miss Marion, if you pile up enough tomorrows, all you'll find is a bunch of empty yesterdays. And for those of you that have anything wrong with you at all, whether it be an amputation, whether it be a loved one you lost, any crisis in your life, don't start piling up empty yesterdays. Get up and live, because you get one get-go in this world and that's it.
There's a reason why a lot of times we find ourselves having the same New Year's resolution year in and year out. And that is because until you get a new you, you will never have a new year. I'll repeat that. Until you get a new you, you will never have a new year. So I encourage people to get in tune with themselves and to find a way to get to that great self that they know is buried down deep inside of them. And it takes time. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. The reality is we live in a society where we're standing in front of the microwave patting our feet, and we want everything like yesterday. But success is a process. So be patient and know that your time will come.
What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? That's when you use your compass. That's when you trust that your compass is there to guide you and you go for it.
It is extremely powerful to set your own compass, be true to your own highest values, be clear on your own inspirations and vision, and follow the path with a machete and create a completely new trail that's true to you.
Keep this in mind. For every moment you spend focusing outside of yourself, trying to find an answer, you're sacrificing 1 minute that you could be looking inside yourself where the answer's been there all along. Imagine you're going down a 2-lane road. You have speed bumps on both sides that tell you when you're going out of your lane. As long as you stay in your lane, all is well. You're following your path. When you hit one of the bumps on the right or on the left, all it is a little jolt. It's waking you up to say, oh, get back in your lane. Stay on your path. Follow your compass.
It's not thinking about the ideas. It's not becoming aware of the ideas. The most important part of our life is actually putting the ideas into play and using them to run our lives. That makes all the difference in the world.
How many opportunities are you missing? They're right there, right in your backyard, that you're not acting upon.
Listen to your intuition, what is called the still inner voice, that little voice that will always guide you to do the right thing for you. Never go against your intuition. When you listen to your intuition, when you listen to your heart, there's some great power in the universe that will guide you unerringly to doing the right things and being the right person in the right place for you.
Confronted by a challenge and you feel you're literally hanging from a cliff. Instead of focusing on the fall, it might be wiser to focusing on how it's strengthening your hands. It's making you determine what you really want in life, your goal, and maybe giving you an opportunity to show that you can conquer any obstacle and actually go from the cliff hanging to rising above the cliff and getting to the peak.
Life is alive. And when you get into the flow of the movement, it'll feel like you come to life. It'll feel like you come to life once again.
So remember, every time the sun touches your face, you can understand and know that you are special.
As long as we're moving in the direction of our goals and our dreams and we hold on to our vision, we will achieve every single goal and you will achieve every single goal that you have.
The sun rises over a new world. We still hurt sometimes. We still cry sometimes. But we carry on. We feel. We see. We talk.
We live. I am strong. I am confident. I am here. I am ready.
When the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Many people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65. Your life has value. Decide with the compass of your life that you're going to make a mark, that you're going to live your life in such a way that long after you're gone, buried in your grave, the impact of your life will continue to show up long after you're gone.
Tomorrow is the only truth. I've said goodbye to yesterday. Well, my playground is the universe. The earth is where I live. I won't live my life in reverse. I have way too much to give. Oh, there's a compass inside of me that points the way to destiny. And when I chase the farthest goal, I know I'll find my deepest soul. Well, there's a compass inside of me that points the way to destiny. Every moment, every day, I'll let my compass lead the way. Well, my compass is leading the way. My compass lead the way. You know I'm ready to begin. I'm strong enough to live and learn. And if I find a fork in the road, I know which way to turn. I got a mountain I need to climb, and I got a dream I've got to try. And if I stumble and fall, I know the truth will make me fly. Well, my playground is the universe. The earth is where I live. I want to live my life in reverse. I have way too much to give. Oh, there's a compass inside of me. It points the way to destiny. And when I chase the farthest goal, I know I'll find my deepest soul. Well, there's a compass inside of me that points the way to destiny. Every moment, every day, I'll let my compass lead the way. There's a message for all who can hear it and have the courage to trust their heart. If you listen, the moment will find you. All you have to do is start. There's a compass inside of me that points the way to destiny. And when I chase the farthest goal, I know I'll find my deepest soul. Oh, there's a compass inside of me that points the way to destiny. Every moment, every day, I'll let my compass lead the way. Well, there's a compass inside of me, oh yeah, it points the